Good evening, people. I am JJ,
I'm CJ.
and we are the Radio Twins,
Yo.
and this is the Radio Twins experience. As we always say, if you ever want to catch us live, you can always go to TheRaydioTwins.com. That's
TheRaydioTwins.com.
And if you ever want to check out our apparel line, which is Born to Win store, just look for the tab on our website, which is BORN2WINSTORE.com. There you'll find the hoodies, the t-shirts, the hats, you name it, we're there. We know a few people have already checked it out. We appreciate you. Even if you ain't buying them, we good.
You know we got to say it like Lynch. We appreciate you.
Yes. And of course, like I said before, if you want to follow us on social media, we're on all social media platforms, which is, well, Twitter, formerly known as X, formerly known as Twitter.
Whatever, I still call it Twitter. I don't care
Facebook,
what nobody say.
Instagram, TikTok, you name it, we're on it. And of course, this is the Radio Twins experience. And as we always say, we like to interview interesting individuals because they have a story to tell, not to mention, and something that you can always learn from or pull or, gravitate to that particular individual.
Right.
And that's why we called it the Radio Twins experience. You experience them while we experience them at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and nothing changes. And tonight we have Pirate Bay. What's going on, man?
What up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? How y'all feeling?
Very good.
All right.
Very good.
So, I guess the first question I want to ask is, how'd you get into this hip hop thing called rap?
Oh man. So I say about when I was around about 7, 8 years old. It started off with poetry. Started off just writing poems, needing an outlet. I didn't feel like I could fully verbally express myself, and I felt like I just did it so much better on paper. So it started off with poetry, and then I'd say about when I got around 11 years old, my older sister, she actually taught me how to put the words to a beat. And we would just like listen to like just 90s hip hop, like the Rough Riders, No Limit, just all that type of stuff. And gradually, like I just kind of just started just pretty much piggybacking off of her. Like we would kind of just remix songs. We'll take like one of our favorite songs on the radio and we'll write all the lyrics and everything, and then we'll go back and we'll just like remix like the words, and like she pretty much kind of taught me how to write, with the music, like just from doing that. And then gradually I just picked it up and ran with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you consider yourself, I'll probably give you a few titles. Do you consider yourself a fanatic for music, fanatic for rap, fanatic for lyrics, or all the above?
Man, all of the above. Like I say that because a lot of the times, like I just listen to so many different genres of music, just whatever catches my ear. Like I always tell people, like, yeah, granted I'm hip hop based, but like you'll catch me like listening to, I don't know, DMX 1 minute, and then I'll feel like I want to listen to Britney Spears the next minute, and then I may feel like I want to like go back over here and listen to Gucci Man over here, and I might listen to Miley Cyrus. Like it varies with me. It's just like whatever like catches my attention, whatever catches my heart. And yeah, it's kind of crazy because it's like while I was picking up on hip hop, I was mostly a dancer. So like I was really in tune into like, a lot of dance based music, and like I kind of spent the block from there.
How did you come up with your name, Pirate Bay?
Whew, man, oh man. I say this because anybody that like knows me knows like I went through like a trillion nicknames, like just looking for one that just really like fit. Like I feel like throughout my adulthood, I'm 36 now, but I feel like throughout my adulthood, I felt like I moved around like so much. And when I say move around, I was kind of more like I was a bit of a gypsy. I was a bit of a couch hopper, like I was, just moved along, and every environment I was in was like a different fields, a different people like that I was around and hanging around. I always felt like it was some type of adventure. So like that's kind of where the pirate thing came in. Like I said, I just had so many names, and then finally I was just like, you know what? I need something that like really represents me. Represents like where my life is, and and pirate came to mind. Now the B.A.E stands for before anything else. So it's pirate before anything else.
I like that.
Wow.
Pirate before anything else. That's
I'm an
cool.
adventurer. I'm gonna dive in. A little nervous, but I'm gonna dive in.
So, at least with us, and I know people will, once they see this interview, they're gonna be like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least me, and I know he feels the same way, but I don't want to speak for him. When I say you are very different,
Way different,
lyrically,
way different,
and it's just something about it's something the way you tell a story that stands out to us. Like,
we always say, when like Jay listens to lyrics, I listen to lyrics. So for me, it's more so hook and then lyrics. And if
Word.
it's almost like when you write, it's like you come to life. Like every song can be completely different, but you bring that same energy to like every joint you do. And it's like,
Hey.
oh, you could be talking about, I don't know, let's say clowns. And you're like, you literally engulf the vibe of clowns in this song. And you're like, how in the world did he do that?
so do you write first listening to the music and then the words come, or is it the other way around?
And you just have a topic already.
It really varies. It really varies. Sometimes it really depends on the mood. Like I know this is like a reoccurring mood, like in my adult life. When it comes to like relationships and like it coming to its wits end. Like I'm like, oh my god, like I feel a breakup song coming on. Like, so it's like, yeah, I like in that moment I know exactly how I feel and what I'm gonna do. But like for the most part, like I'll just hear a beat and like I'll just kind of let it tell its own story, and I'll kind of just dive into it. Like I'll tell people, like if I'm writing like a club song, like
Mhm.
I get really into my head, like on some kind of universal kind of thing where it's like I picture myself sitting literally in the middle of the club with a pen and pad, looking around, writing about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I just kind of just that's the mind state I kind of get into. It's like if the beat is telling me like, hey, like we're on a beach somewhere and I don't know, like and you want me to save you and I can't swim, like, and somehow I turn this into like a good relationship song, like like it varies, man, it varies, but I definitely like embody it and feel like I'm actually like right there whenever I'm writing. And then sometimes I'm just like I'm being just a goofball as I am. And I'm just having fun with it. And I'm just like, who wait until they hear this line. Wait till they hear this line.
Right.
Yeah, it varies, man. It varies.
Do you ever feel like any lines that you come up, have you ever gotten to the point where you said, I feel this line, but somebody else might not feel it? Or do you look for the reaction, or you're just satisfied with what you put down already?
For the most part, I'm satisfied usually what I put down. There's probably like maybe like few key lines where like I was like, I'll write and I'm just like, ooh, like I know nobody thought of this. Like faces are gonna fall. Faces are going to fall. Like with this line right here in particular, like I know they know I'm coasting on the beat, but when they hear this line, it's gonna be like, yo, stop.
To piggyback off what he does, to piggyback off, when you do write lines and metaphors, are you in the mindset of, if I'm going to write a metaphor, I got to write it in a certain way, so that way, let's say the avid person who listens to lyrics, is like, hold up, Ramona, did you catch that? Or do you write just based off of vibe? You know what if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
most people.
it does.
So technically, if I listen to a song just because I listened to a song because it was good, but if I don't listen to lyrics, I wouldn't catch what you said in a metaphor or whatever. Like, how do you do that all the time, or do you just try to keep your metaphors just as simple as possible where the average person could catch it?
It depends on the song. It depends on, it depends on the song. It depends on the vibe. Sometimes I will hear a beat and I'm just like, this is so ABC. You can go crazy, but you don't really have to. You don't necessarily really have to, just kind of just coast on the beat. Just take everybody for a little ride. Like, you're gonna hit the little bumps here and there, like, ooh, that was a bar. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, just kind of coast with it. But also in the same breath, it's kind of hard for me to kind of hold back in a way, because we're from the era of original hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Where we on lyricism, bars, cadence, so it's kind of hard sometimes when I kind of have to draw back and stuff like that. But then there's moments I'm just like, no, you're gonna get this smoke. You're gonna get this smoke. Hold your breath.
Right. Do you find it easier to of course write what you feel, but do you allow,
are there any boundaries,
right, to what you write?
I guess I wouldn't say boundaries. At one point, in my my writing in hip hop career, and come up, there was a point where I was kind of reserved. I was kind of more focused on just writing some good words, just piecing stuff together and everything. And a friend of mine actually posted about this the other day. He listened to my music for the first time, so I was just kind of previewing him some stuff. This was, say, about maybe 7 years ago. And he looked at me and he was like, "You're fire. You, without a doubt, you're fire. You got it." He was like, I want to hear more personal, stories about you and everything. I want to hear who you really are." And for about 10 seconds, I was pissed. It was at that moment, I felt like I was good at taking criticism, but at that moment I felt like it was just yo, I was over here American Idol rapping for my life. You were getting ready to sign me, and so it didn't hit me right then and there. It wasn't until maybe 2 years later, something real personal happened, and I just started penning. You feel me? And it just and then when I went back and I just kept going over it, it felt good. And then I thought about what he said. I was just like, wow, okay, now I see what he's saying. He's like, hey, I'm not saying you can't rap, but who are you? You know what I mean?
When you said that, who, I don't know why this entered my mind. When you said that, what entered my mind? If I said a statement, I bet you know what I mean. Sometimes, I'm sensitive about my.
Hey, Erica.
It's amazing you said that, because when I first started writing, the first thing I would always write party joints, no matter what it was. And then one time I wrote a song because somebody sort of said the same thing to me. They was like, "Who are you?"
Right.
You in a group with your brother, but who are you? And I was like, okay, I didn't take offense to it, but I was just like, I thought I was.
Yeah, bro. Excuse me? I just told you.
And I knew I was on the right track when I wrote the song called Trials. And when I rhymed it to my brother, he was like, you sure you want to say that? That's really personal. And I was like, yeah, because if I didn't want it out there, I probably wouldn't have put it in the song. And he was like, okay, long as you think it is. So,
Hey.
other than, do you come across stuff like that where you are who you are in the songs, but do you feel like some songs are let me just record them and let me set them to the side, or let me put them in a box over here, I'm not gonna let the world hear it, they're just too deep?
Yeah. I got a few joints where I'm not gonna say I'm uncomfortable with everybody hearing them, but I'm trying to live with them myself right now, because it's when I read it back, it's just wow, this is raw. This is really going on in my life. You know what I'm saying? When everything comes off, this is really what you're going through right now. Not a lot of people know this. You feel me? Because you know what I'm saying? You hide it pretty well. You feel me? It's just yo, it gets to that point. But like I said, when I spoke to that friend 7 years ago, like that kind of somewhat turned that keyhole. You feel me? Like turned that key. And
Mhm.
then recently, shout out Billy Live, shout out Wisdom Court, you know what I mean? So
Which,
when I was working on, this current project and everything, I remember him telling me like just get personal. And like I like, ooh, wait a minute. Ooh, I had a trigger real quick. Like, ooh, I remember that 7 years ago with somebody to get personal. Like, and it was
Right.
something about like the way, he said it, and it was just like, yeah, like, you know what? These, what I'm saying? A lot of people have been seeing, what I'm saying, seeing me at these shows, everything, they see all the looks, they see everything, but like, who is this guy? And then that's when it hit me, and I just started, and I'm like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to put this out. I'm ready to show them who is this guy? I'm ready to answer that question.
Speaking of which, what makes you different from all of the lyricists out there?
Hmm. Mm, 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 mm. What separates um what separates me? I feel like it's just I guess my broadened musical genre likings. I'll say that. I guess just like how I am and what I listen to in general, and just like the kind of stuff that I'm into. Like I'm not afraid to put everything in a pot and just mix it, and just put different stuff in there. It's like I'm gonna be telling this story, but it's like you're gonna hear little things in between, like I don't know, like I like cookies, so like I'm gonna make like a reference there, and like people like, you know what? He was always a cookie eating guy, like, or like I don't know, like I like Disney movies, and I make like a Disney reference or something like that. It's just like, yeah. It's just like it's certain stuff I'll sprinkle in there that's like that's definitely different, and I feel like a lot of artists I haven't heard, many artists kind of just they mix that gumbo pot, but like some things they kind of try to separate. You feel me? I'm not afraid
yeah,
to mesh some things and see what it does, and see what it does, and see what's the outcome. Sometimes like I'll feel like it's a dope outcome, and then I may hear it again. I'm just like, it's just that one part, and like when it comes to music, I'm just such a perfectionist. So I'm just like that one
right.
part is ruining everything.
That that kind of leads me to the next question. So, let's say you had an idea and you haven't really written anything yet, but then the music comes in, and the music is like fire, and you're like, "Yo, this is like ridiculous," but you weren't able to connect with the song like you thought you would, because the music is just so, like, you love the beat and you
Oh my
love the,
god.
and you're like,
Oh,
I can't write this.
yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of those, and I get really angry like when it comes to that, because it's like the beat is so good. Like I have a few where like the beat is just, oh my god, I'll just sit there. I'm just like, why can't I think of anything? I just know I have a song. I hear the song in my head, but why can't I structure it like the beat is right? It's for me. Like I'll just sit there and I'll just get so frustrated. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me come back to it. Let me come back to it. I was like, but if I stay there too long, the writing session is over. If I stay there too long, the writing session is over.
Wow. So, out of what you do, what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
The best piece of advice that I've gotten: keep being you.
Mm.
Keep being
What's
you.
the,
And I know it sounds so, so cliche,
mhm.
but I get it. I get it in a sense, in a world where, everybody's just, well, mostly, some to most people are in uniform, because it just, it's the standard, it's the cool, you
Mhm.
there's, and then there's me, like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna wear the uniform, but I'm gonna tweak this thing a little bit. I'm
What,
gonna rip up,
what's
rip a sleeve off.
what's the worst?
Worst advice. Ooh.
You don't have to name names.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. It's cool. Yeah, yeah. Man, the worst advice. I wouldn't say it was really advice. It was more like something that I heard a lot, and eventually I just was like, I ain't gotta listen to y'all. And it was Why are you wearing that? Take that
Oh wow.
off. Why are you wearing that?
Oh,
See,
for real?
and
You feel me?
I'm loving, because this is the next question I was going to ask, and that's perfect. Because I was going to say, the way you do your music is one thing, but then when did you realize that when you perform it, you have to like be kind of equal, or if not up there with your music? You know what I mean? Like, when did you feel like, okay, no, I can't just be on this stage and quote unquote look normal. I gotta do me. I gotta do what I do, and which I
Really
believe.
step out.
Yeah, like, how did you come to that conclusion?
Um, well, guys, I don't know if you noticed, I've been a weirdo all my life. Um, pretty weird over here, and I love it. I love it. But man, for the most part, it's like I said, it just kind of it's kind of always been like uh me. This all this has kind of always been it's been me, but it's
Mhm.
only been like a few years ago where I was really fully sitting in it, comfortable, like not looking over my shoulder, like I wonder if they like this, like I wonder if they're talking about me. You feel
Mhm.
me? Like you know what I'm saying? Once I got over that hump, it was like it was kind of just go time from there. And then when I
Yeah.
get on stage, it it's not, I guess it's not really difficult because it's just like I'm sort of excited, you know, to show off, you know, this energy, this look and everything, like because not necessarily like I'll be home like rehearsing, but like, you know, I'll be in my head like with a little hairbrush, like yeah, yeah, you know, like so like I'll kind of just get myself into that zone. So like when I'm there, and like when I'm there in the moment, it's like live in the moment. It took a little while. It took a little while. It was like I was on stage, you know, I started getting those thoughts. Like I wonder if they're like, you know, looking at me, judging me, you know, stuff like that. But then after a while, it was just like, nah, trust me, like they're gonna remember you. If they don't remember your name, they're gonna remember you.
What do you, when you how did you feel the first time you realized that people actually are gravitating towards you and your music? What, like, where were you? Like, where were you when you realized, wow, they really like
Like,
me?
I have some.
Right.
um, you know what? It was honestly like when a few artists would call me. Like they would actually like call me and just like, you know, like give me love and respect. Like, yo, I just like, and all of them have the same starter story. Like, yo, when I first saw you, Pirate, I thought you were weird. You're absolutely right. You got the right idea. How right you are. But then they were just like, yo, but you just like you really just you live in it. Like you really like this is really you. Like I'm like, like yo, I'll wear this on stage and then go to Walmart like this right after. Like this is really me. And like I said, just different people would just call and just be like, yo, I love what you're doing. Like, yeah, I like the look. I'm proud of you. I remember you back then running around like with your lyric binder, like, and now look at you like, you know, making moves. Like that's when it really hit me. Just like, yo, like I'm really doing this. Like, yeah.
It was one person me and my brother both thought about when we first saw you perform.
Right.
You want to tell them who it was?
You know.
Andre 3000.
Right.
That was the
Three
first.
stacks.
We like yo, like, of course you have your own vibe, your own style, but when we saw you, I was like, somebody like that live here in Baltimore? Like, what?
Yeah.
Because you engulfed that. It was like the music was hype, the lyrics was ridiculous, and then the performance and what we saw on stage was just like, dang, all of that. Like, all of that. Do you feel sometimes you never want to come off without the energy that you've built up this far?
um, Yeah, like sometimes like I really get like literally piggybacking off what I had just said. One of the artists in particular he had called me and he was just like yo, like this vibe that you have, like I just need you to know, like you have to, this is your brand now. I need to see you like this every time I see you. And I was like, bro, like sometimes I might want to just throw a little sweatsuit on. He like, nah, yo, like when I see you at these shows, you can't do that anymore.
No, right. Let me explain something to you. And most people don't know that when we first met you, as specifically when you were performing, and I think thereafter, every time we've seen you perform, we tend to, and if it's not me, my brother says the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you perform, we always tell you, don't change.
Right.
Because that is,
I do, man.
And the thing,
Yeah.
everybody on Wisdom Court literally is like different, and we love them for each and everything that they each do that's different. Like you everybody that's associated with Wisdom Court, and it's like you go over here, it's Pirate Bay. You go over here, it's Donnie Breeze. Over here, you got King Killer. You got Jay, and it's like everybody's different. Right. Everybody got their own vibe, and everybody kills it every time. Right. So we salute you for that one.
Definitely.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. Thank you.
And one of the things that I can't wait for is when you start putting visuals to your music. Like, man,
me
you sound like already. See, right. Nobody respond like that other than Pirate Bay.
Right.
Yes,
so
Lord.
Do you when you think of the visuals of the music video, the videos that you want to go with to match your song, are you like way out there, the outer limits and with no boundaries, or is there a certain,
do you think there's an end to it?
Right.
I feel like with certain ones, it's like there was such a visual that was going on as I was penning. So it was like, it's like, okay, I see how this is gonna play out. So I know that some of the visuals is like, they're not gonna be like out there, but they're definitely gonna be like, okay, yeah, like if your songs and your look is like that, your visuals better. You feel me? Like, but then there's certain songs where like it just don't scream for a whole lot in the visual, where it's just like, you know what I'm saying, just look up with your guys, I don't know, in front of a Dollar Tree and just talk your talk. Like,
the reason why I asked that is because when those red boots came out that Kanye had, I think it was Kanye. Was it Kanye? Yeah. Was it Kanye?
Yeah.
It was Kanye, right? Yeah. The red boots.
Hold on, because I gotta. Let me give it to him. Wait a minute. Let me give it to the people. Woo. Let me give it to them.
When we saw you,
when we first, and another thing, when people, like the day that we saw this gentleman wear those boots, it was like nobody else could rock the boot the way you rock them.
We was like, yeah, because if anybody else had those boots on that night, we would have been like, yo, why are you not rocking them?
Right. I really. What's crazy was when I had told a lot of people before I got them, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get those boots. It was like a lot of people actually said to me like, yo, like there's a lot of things you could pull off, but those, nah. Like I actually had everybody like, nah, you don't get them. Like, don't get them. I'm like, is that a challenge? Is that a challenge?
Right.
But yes, and it's like I can only, and it's just me. I feel like poets, lyricists, and not to mention a very creative, and you're a very creative person. Do you feel like with what we have in the industry now, do you feel like, what if someone asked you to limit yourself on something? Like, let's say,
would you like take the deal? Like if somebody was like, yo, we about to sign you for a deal.
And they said, well, but you gotta change this. What would you do?
I can't, because I don't know how to be anything else.
Right.
You know, it just mentally, it took so long to get here that it's like, I just don't think I have it in me just to sacrifice this, like, and go back to the drawing board and limit myself and censor myself. Like, and then on top of that, just where we're at, like just in music now, like we need creatives, you know, and
Right.
this is not to take away from like any of the artists that's out there, because everybody, you know what I'm saying, has a creative bone, you know, they got something going on. But, you know, in this day and age now, we need some creative.
Right.
We need some whoo,
When
like,
you
you know.
when you heard that a couple weeks ago, they stated, and it was like a fact that rap music was down. What was it, 40%?
Right.
Um,
Yes.
how did you feel when you heard that?
Yo, it was just, it was like a wow. It was definitely like a curveball, because it was just like, here I am thinking like, you know, we're you know, we're out and thriving and all, and you know, it's, but I understand. I understand why. It's because like this, it's so money driven. It's so money driven. It's like people are forgetting about the creative. There was a point where like I think Eminem said this in an interview, and like it was one of those things that was like boom, like just straight to the head. Like, okay, he was like, back then, you know, when you didn't sound like anybody else, you were praised.
Right,
Now, when you don't sound like anybody else, you're kind of looked at a little weird.
right,
So
right,
it's
right.
like with that going on, it's just like you got so many carbon copies, so many carbon copies.
So
So it's
many.
just like they just chipping them out at the factory just at their fastest. And
Yeah,
that's the reason. That's the reason. It's like, okay, there was a moment in hip hop where we just were like, you know what? You're gonna keep feeding us this. All right, we'll eat this chicken every day for a little while. And then after a while, it was just like, yo, I'm tired of this. I'm
Right.
right.
tired of this. Like I remember where we started, like, and I'm tired of this. Like, yeah, something has got to give. And that's why hip hop is where it's at right now, because the people are tired.
Now we're celebrating the 50 years of hip hop, right? do you
Mhm.
do you feel like there should or shouldn't be an age limit on, like, you know how most people say, well, you get to a certain age, you really need to stop rapping. I don't, me personally,
I'll never.
but what do you think about that?
It's really just gonna stop your passion just at a certain age because of social norms? No. Because of social norms, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? We got people like good old Jay carrying on, carrying. You
Right.
feel me? Like it's you stop when when your fingers cramp and you can no longer come up with a thought.
Right.
You stop when your heart tell you to stop. If your heart don't tell you to stop, then it's not time for you to stop.
Right.
And you know, you got people like the Rolling Stones who are like in their 80s still
No, no,
rocking.
no, no, no. You know, I'm glad you said that. I saw
Mm.
social media just, I believe it was yesterday. They asked him about, I can't think of who he was interviewing. I want to say uh it was the guy from the Locks, Styles P.
Stop.
They asked him about that same, something to the same question, and he said, you know what's amazing to me, how is it that you would ask me that kind of question when the people like Rolling Stones, they're over 50, but yet they're still performing. You have people in country who is over 50 and they're still performing. But yet you ask a genre like hip hop, you need to stop. Why?
Yeah, like what? Like I don't know who started that.
Hmm.
I really don't know who started that, but like, guys, guys, you
Right.
guys got to stop, because just like you guys said, like we have rock and roll and all different in country, all different genres, and they're still going strong. But then
Right.
like when it comes to rap, like, oh, you're 43 or you're still rapping, like, yeah, just like he's 87 and he's still shredding that guitar. It's no
Right,
Exactly.
different. That, yeah,
Right.
it's social norms. It's social norms. They need to be broken. Some cycles need to be broken.
well, if you had to actually, before we move into the final questions we have, but I want to ask this one question. Because of what you do and how you do it, was there anybody particularly that you tried to pattern yourself after, coming up when you were slowly but surely learning who you were and how you write and perform?
Um, well, as I was coming up, it was just like just an array of different artists, you know, that just kind of just fell like into the pot. But like as of like within like recent years, like there's like a few where it's just like, yeah, like their formula and just how they do their music, and just everything about them is just like, yeah, I dig that. I don't want to be the next you. I want to be the first me. But
Right.
I'm feeling that. And there's people like Lil Wayne, just his never ending just encyclopedia up there, just like, how did you come up with this? Like, it's when you get the stank face, that's approval. That's approval. When you get that stank face and you listen to something. So
Right.
yeah, people like Wayne. I'm really big on, and a lot of people look at me funny and everything, but I'm really big on Nicki Minaj. I'm big on her, not just, you know what I'm saying, just off the strength of her being like just like a woman in a male dominated industry, but her dominating in a dominated industry to the point where like she put herself in categories with men. You feel me? Just like her, the way she moves in her music, the chameleon kind of flow. Like, and between Wayne and Nicki, honestly, like them two, like just how they just kind of chameleon their flow to just pattern just onto anything. Like that's definitely one of the things that like I pride myself on, which is why like people will hear beats like a few, there have been a few engineers that heard beats in the studio like, yo, what are you gonna do with this?
Mhm.
Watch. Watch me. Or people like Fabulous, like just like I'm obsessed with like his wordplay. It is just like he just reminds me just of so much of just New York. He's just so up north, you feel me? And he just like just the way he presents like his cadence, his flow, his style. So it's just like for me, it's definitely like those three amongst like just other different like just artists. It's just like a whole melting pot. It's like, it's not to say like, you know, I'm not necessarily a creative, but it's like I see certain things, I just pick a little part from here, pick a little part from here, pick a little part from here. You feel me?
Right.
And I tweak it and I turn it into something.
But I have to correct you. That is a total fabrication because you are creative.
Right.
Look what you're doing. If you don't follow him on TikTok, if you don't follow him on Instagram, you
Right.
will. When I tell you, and he doesn't even know this, but it's a lot of stuff that you post that my brother and I will incorporate to whatever we do, because
Wow.
all I, if you do not follow him on
Y'all need to.
Instagram or
And
TikTok,
we thought it was just the songs that inspire us to write. Everybody in Wisdom Court inspires us to write. But even with some of your TikTok stuff and your Instagram content, it's just like, yo. So if y'all ain't follow him, y'all need to go follow him.
right?
Yes,
Pirate.
yes, please. Yes, BBI
So,
Pirate Bay. BBI Pirate Bay, y'all. Follow me.
so we don't like to say these are questions, but these are statements. It's
Mhm.
like fill in the blank statements.
Right.
We make this, and we tend to give these to everybody, and it's always usually a different answer. So whatever comes to mind, you fill in the blank. All right.
Okay.
I could never have predicted.
I could never have predicted that I'd be out here doing my music and showing the real me.
Okay.
Right.
Showing the real me.
The key to happiness is
The key to happiness is self-love. Self-love. You got to start with you first. You got to start with you first. You can't expect to like go out there and starts at home.
Right. You will never regret.
I will never regret the decisions I made. Any decisions I made. That's why I'm here now.
Okay.
wow. But you might wish you had.
But I might wish I had. Hmm. 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 But I might wish I had the strength to be this strong, you know, earlier. But here I am.
The biggest risk I ever took was.
Ooh. The biggest risk I ever took was, really living out here on my own. It's a little ghetto.
No, feel the same way.
Never be impressed by.
Mm. people's words. Actions are stronger.
Right. I hope people will remember me most for.
I was waiting for this question. I like this question.
How I make them feel. How I generally just how I make people feel. Like, because if nothing else, like when I leave, you're gonna smile. Even if you upset, if you're having like just the worst day, you're gonna get like a little smile.
Definitely.
Job well done.
Now we also have, well, like we try to add to something different, but if I say a particular name, you tell us what you think of that person and what comes to mind. So
Okay.
if I somebody like Colin Kaepernick, what would you say?
Strong. Big strong.
Cool.
I wanna say Darren, but it's like, oh, it's not really brave. It's right. Right is right. But I definitely want to say strong.
The second one would be Malcolm X.
Thank you.
Cool.
President Barack Obama.
Thank you. With the bow.
Right.
And the last one, Michael Jackson.
My fellow Virgo.
He was a Virgo? I didn't
Oh,
know that.
wow. I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
Definitely. So
Long lasting.
if you had, I believe you had something coming up in the new year, what would that be?
Wait, say it again.
You have something new coming in 2024. What would that be?
Woo-hoo, my beautiful people. Attention. This guy right here, Pirate Bay, representing that Wisdom Court. I am coming out with my first official solo EP. It is called Sorry for Dragging You Into This.
Okay.
And it drops on January 24, 2024. Boom.
I like.
Now, how'd you come up with that title?
How to come up with that title? When I started this project, man, I was in a really angry headspace. I felt like people in my life that I held, I guess, very high, really, really disappointed me. And it got to a point where like I felt like, you know what? I've been quiet for too long. And I need to say something. And like when I just started working on this project, like the name just came to my head. It was just like, sorry for dragging you into this. And it just goes with just so many different things. Like when listening to this project, it's like, sorry I had to drag you into this, but you asked for it. But then there's also sorry for dragging y'all into this because y'all had nothing to do with it. And then there's also me dragging myself in the process. Sorry for dragging you into this, but you knew better.
Right.
And you know what they say, if you knew better, you
do better.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. 124-24.
If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do it? Via social media, emails? How would they, and once your music comes out, how would they get a hold of you?
So, children, let me tell you what a landline is. Your kids don't know what a landline is. Let me tell you what a pager is. It's like, so guys, y'all can find me on Instagram, BBI Pirate Bay, B.A.E, not B.A.Y, but if you type the BBI Pirate, you'll see the B.A.E before anything else. TikTok, same thing, BBI Pirate Bay. There's some numbers at the end, but I'm in there. 1241. Yeah, there we go. You see, Facebook, got my government out there, Andre Allen. Say, hey, this is so funny because Andre 3000, Andre 2,999. There we go.
Told you.
So yeah, but yeah, y'all can find me there. Or you might see me walking down the street with this. Say hi.
First of all, we want to say thank you for taking the time out to interview with us.
Right.
we always, like I said, we always come across a lot of individuals that are very interesting, that their story will help motivate or push someone else to do what they need to do in their lives. Because like they always say, you have a number, then you have a dash, and then you have a number.
It's what you
You're
do.
in the middle with that dash.
Right.
That changes everything. And
I agree,
believe,
man. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry. Let me say this, because I want my people to hear this. Like, my weird people out there, it's okay. It is okay. Stop letting your friends tell you what to put on. Stop letting the world and society's norms tell you who you are.
Right.
That's all I had to say.
That is so true. It's like, because I guess, and being creative, and then you see what happens when you're very creative, just like that.
Right.
I mean, and that you're a perfect example of it. It's like, had you not listened to the person who said, well, let me hear a little bit more of you, as opposed to what we see on the surface, you know? And now it's like, you have a whole flock of people. It's like, yo, I like what I'm hearing. I like what you do.
I love that. I never get tired of it. It's just, thank you.
Right. And I think, and I appreciate that. And because a lot of people don't know that, you know, we do what we do, and what we're doing behind the scenes now is because of people like you.
Right. And anybody and everybody that's in court. Because
shout out to Billy Live.
Yeah, because he was the one who.
Shout out to you, Pop. You already know.
It's been a connection of a lot of people. Things that J Money Hackett said, you said, Billy said, and we didn't really see it from that aspect of what they were looking at, what y'all were looking at. It was more so like, what? And we start thinking, it's like, yeah. So yeah, never change. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep ripping it. I mean, like, straight smash the stage like you normally do. Music too. So.
Right. Oh, and I want to say, give a shout out to Cruddy Live, Billy Live, King Killer, J Money Hackett. There's so many.
Donnie Breeze.
There's so many.
It's so many. Wisdom Court. It's like
you.
Shout out Wisdom Court. Oh yeah, follow Wisdom Court on IG. You feel me? At Wisdom Court ENT.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, I am JJ.
I'm CJ,
and we are the Radio Twins, and this is the Radio Twins Experience. And again, thank you, Pirate Bay, for giving us the opportunity to interview you, to let the world know more about you.
And anytime you want to do an interview, let us know. If you got something new dropping, let us know. We'll post it. We don't care.
Definitely.
Oh, say less. Hey, guys. I love y'all, man. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all and all that y'all do.
Thank you.
You too.
Appreciate it. All right.
Peace.